I hope you are familiar with the doubly reinforced section. So in this session, we will be solving a design type problem for a doubly reinforced beam. Before that, we will have a look into the basis on which you are going to design a doubly reinforced section. So this is a doubly reinforced section. We have tension steel as well as compression steel. We will plot the strain diagram for it. At ultimate limit of collapse, you will be having ultimate strain in concrete, while the strain in steel, if it reaches the yield strain value, this will result me in a limiting neutral axis depth. So in a balanced doubly reinforced section, we are limiting the neutral axis to maximum neutral axis depth or limiting neutral axis depth. We'll try to find out what is the strain in your compression reinforcement. This will be equal to the strain in concrete at this level. So at this level, whatever strain in concrete is there, that will be equal to the strain in your compression reinforcement. So this is epsilon SC. The strain in compression reinforcement will be computed using this formula. Further, we know this doubly reinforced section is split into two parts. One is a singly reinforced section. Okay, now here, since the neutral axis is limited to limiting neutral axis depth, this is a balanced singly reinforced section. So part of tension reinforcement will correspond to the limiting steel or maximum steel corresponding to singly reinforced section. In addition to this section, we have a section which will comprise of a part of tension reinforcement and complete compression reinforcement. So if I sum this two section, it will give me this doubly reinforced section. Now this tension reinforcement will be AST1 plus AST2. We know AST1, this is the maximum tension steel corresponding to a singly reinforced section. What we need to do, we need to compute AST2. Now in order to compute AST2, we will focus on this section, okay, because this section gives me AST2. Now to do that, I would like to know what is the compression force in my compression steel, and this will be equal to the tension force which is coming in the steel of quantity AST2. So this compression force in your compression steel will be equal to the stress in your compression steel into area of compression steel. So this equals CUS equal to FSC into ASC. Stress will correspond to the strain in the compression steel, which is computed using this formula. Once I get the strain in compression reinforcement, I can get the value of FSC from the stress strain curve of steel or from the standard table which is given in code for different grade of steel. Next, once FSC is known, I would like to know what is my compression reinforcement. Now in order to compute this compression reinforcement, we will compute the moment carrying capacity of this section. The moment carrying capacity of this section will be equal to limiting moment carrying capacity. So this is because, as I said, this is a balanced singly reinforced section. What about this one? Now the moment resisting capacity for this section will be CUS into this lever arm. Now if I sum this up, you are going to get the ultimate moment carrying capacity of the doubly reinforced section. When I applied ultimate load on beam, it will result in maximum moment at some section for which the beam has to be designed. So that ultimate maximum moment will be equated with the moment of resistance of doubly reinforced section. So in this expression, if I substitute that maximum ultimate moment resulting from the load in this expression, here we will be able to compute ASC. Once ASC is computed, that is the compression steel is computed, what we can do, we can equate the compression force US with T2. If I substitute here, again we are going to get one expression. Here only AST2 is unknown. If I solve this, I'll get AST2. If I substitute AST2 here, finally you will be able to get the total tension reinforcement in the doubly reinforced section. Also you'll be having compression reinforcement which will come from this expression. So let us see how you can arrive the tension steel as well as compression steel with the help of an example. So here is the example. Now if you read this problem, the problem is like you have a simply supported beam supported on two masonry wall. Now it is having a center to center span of 6 meter. If I want to know what is my clear span, so I can easily compute, it will be 6 minus half width of masonry wall, half width of masonry wall. So 6 minus 0.25 is 5.75 meter. Given is the cross section. So the cross section has been given to you. The width of the beam is 250 mm and thickness of the beam is 400 mm. Now in this beam we have service load which is acting. It is a live load of 10 kilonewton per meter, dead load of 5 kilonewton per meter, and also we have concentrated dead load of 30 kilonewton which is acting at midspan point. So let me write down the data which you have. We have width of the beam as 250. The overall depth of the beam is 400 mm. The grade of concrete is not given to you here, but here we can see it's mentioned moderate exposure condition. So you can look in IS 456 2000 for moderate exposure condition, what is the minimum grade of concrete. And from there you will find the minimum grade of concrete which you can use for moderate exposure condition is M25 grade. So the grade of concrete which I am considering is 25 Newton per m millimeter square. Next, the grade of steel has been given. It is Fe415. So your use strength of this steel is 415 Newton per mm square. We'll assume the cover to the tension reinforcement. We'll assume the effective cover to tension reinforcement as 50 mm. If I do so, I'll be able to compute the effective depth D, which will be 350. Now with this given data, since the cross section dimension of the beam is given, we need to compute the reinforcement which we are going to use such that it develops a moment of resistance to take care of the ultimate moment which is going to come because of the ultimate load which is going to act on the beam. So first step is to compute the ultimate moment for design. For that, let us know what is the service load which is acting on the beam. So the first is the self weight of the beam. The self weight of the beam is density of reinforcement concrete into cross section area. You'll get 2.5 kilonewton per meter. Apart from this, you have a dead load of 5 kilonewton per meter which is acting on this beam. So these are dead load. Now you have an imposed load of 10 kilonewton per meter. This is the live load which is acting on the beam. In addition, you have a concentrated load of 30 kilonewton which is acting at the midspan. So let us see what is the total service uniformly distributed load which is going to act on the beam. So the service UDL on the beam is 2.5 plus 5 plus 10, which comes out as 17.5 kilonewton per meter. We design the reinforcement concrete beam for limit state of collapse. So I would like to know what will be the ultimate load. So the ultimate UDL on the beam will be 1.5 into 17.5. This 1.5 is the partial factor of safety of load for dead load as well as live load. Next, I would like to know what is the ultimate concentrated load which is acting at the midspan. So it is 1.5 into, so again 1.5 is partial factor of safety for loads for dead load. Next, what will be the ultimate moment at midspan? The ultimate moment at midspan will be the moment because of the UDL at midspan, which will be W into effective span square divided by 8, and you have to add to this the moment because of the concentrated load at midspan, which will be the ultimate concentrated load into effective span divided by 4. As you can see, you have to compute effective span in order to compute ultimate moment. Effective span provision is given in IS 456. You visit page 34, read clause number 22.2a. So it states that effective span is minimum of center to center distance between support or clear span plus d, whichever is less that you are going to consider. So we compute center to center distance is given as 6 meter and clear span we had computed, it was 5.75. Effective depth d which we have is 0.35 meter. So from here we get effective span as 6 meter. Now we can compute ultimate moment at midspan. So this comes out as 185.6 kilonewton meter. Next, we want to know whether the beam has to be designed as a singly reinforced section or a doubly reinforced section. Now, in order to get that idea, we need to compute limiting moment carrying capacity. for Fe415 steel. So we already know for Fe415 steel, the limiting moment carrying capacity is 0.138 FCK-BD square. So this gives me the limiting moment as 106.3 kilonewton meter. Now since my cross-section dimension is fixed, grade of concrete is fixed, I would not be able to increase the limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam. So here we find your mu is greater than mu lim. So applied moment which is going to come on the beam is greater than the limiting moment carrying capacity. So what we have to do, we have to design the beam as a doubly reinforced section. So the next step is the reinforcement calculation. Since we are designing doubly reinforced section, we will compute the compression reinforcement as well as tension reinforcement. So first we'll compute the compression steel. Now to compute the compression steel, we'll use this expression which we had seen how exactly it is coming. We know the ultimate moment which is going to come on the beam. The limiting moment carrying capacity also I know. I do not know FSC right now, so it will correspond to strain in your compression reinforcement, and this actually comes from strain in compression reinforcement by considering your neutral axis depth as balanced neutral axis depth or limiting neutral axis depth. So we get the strain in compression reinforcement as 0.00246. Corresponding to this strain, will go to page number 6 SP16 for 0.00246, which is lying between 0.00241 and 0.00276. will do linear interpolation for stress in compression steel, and we get this value as 344.1 Newton per mm square. What we'll do, we'll substitute this value in this expression in order to get the compression steel. We get compression steel quantity as 768.2 millimeter square. Now we will provide a 20 mm dia bar. So I would like to know how many number of this 20 mm dia bar is required. So I'll compute it. So number of compression bar of 20 mm dia will be area of compression steel divided by the cross section area of 20 mm dia bar. So the number of bar has to be a whole number, so it will come as 3. So I'll provide 3 20 mm dia bar as my compression steel. Next is tension steel. Now tension steel will be equal to AST1 plus AST2. So you know how exactly it has come. So AST1 corresponds to the maximum tension steel, and to compute maximum tension steel for singly reinforced section, in one of the video for design of singly reinforced section, I had derived this expression, so I am using it directly to compute AST max. So we get AST1 as 1037.3 millimeter square. Now to compute AST2, if you remember, we were equating CUS equal to T2. Now CUS was FSC into ASC and T2 was 0.87 FY AST2. FSC and ASC is already known, so we can compute AST2. So we get AST2 as 732.1 millimeter square. So the total tension steel will be sum of AST1 plus AST2, which will give me 1769.4 millimeter square. If we provide a 25 mm dia bar, we can compute how much the number of 25 mm dia bar will be required, which will be equal to the area of tension steel required divided by the cross section area of 25 mm dia bar, and it comes out to be 4. So we have to draw the sketch. In this sketch I will give the width of the beam, depth of the beam, and will specify that we are using 3 20 mm dia bar, and for the tension steel we are using 4 number of 25 mm dia bar. So we have solved this problem for the flexural reinforcement. So here the flexural reinforcement was compression steel as well as tension steel.